The fence builder is back. The fence builder is back, Goat and Fish.
Aww.
The fence builder is back in power.
Do you be goat or a fish? Don't sit on the fence.
And that fence builder who they call Rump, the rump that sits on the fence builder that they call T-Rump, is back in charge of Fence America. First, there were 4 million years of T-Rump, and then something else happened. And then it was 4 more years of T-Rump again, And T-Rump is just back to their old fancy ways. Why, at the very day of inauguration, T-Rump just couldn't help rambling about that fence. Listen to this. Just listen to this.
We have a fence structure that we worked on, the governor worked on with me, and I didn't love it, to be honest with you. I wanted a nice precast concrete, 40, 50 feet high, like a beautiful, could have been a T-shape, Y-shape. I love construction. I wanted that sucker to go up maybe 50, 60 feet. It would have looked beautiful, a nice Y shape. And they said, the problem is, sir, they climbed that like a rabbit. I said, what do you mean? No way. And they brought some of these guys out. They climbed it like... And the other thing is you hit it with acid and the thing will disintegrate. They have things for concrete. So they needed very hardened steel, very special steel. And then they needed 7,000-pound concrete inside that steel, inside that steel. And then they have a rebar that...
Rambling about fences. Just rambling about fences. Never seen anything so disgusting, says Uber Kitten, and neither is Goat vs. Fish. Mitch the Mexican, cabra contra pez contra cabra, says Trump talks real fish talk might be on the fence also. Oh, we've got more verses. We've got more verses about T-Rump and fish. All reptiles confirmed, says Jim Tam Laundry. Well, Goat vs. Fish, is a reptile a goat or is it a fish? That is a question. Sir? Jedi Grind Goat? Let's listen to that verses once more. When will T-Rump be a guest on Goat vs. Fish? T-Rump should be a guest on Goat vs. Fish. If Ali G can get Goat vs. Fish, then so should Goat vs. Fish.
We have a fence structure that we worked on, the governor worked on with me, and I didn't love it, to be honest with you.
First verse is, I didn't love it, to be honest with you. We had a fence structure and I didn't even love it. The fence sitter doesn't even love their own fence. Aww. It's a sad verses. Take a verses to take pity on this T-Rump. They don't even like their own fence. They don't even like their own fences. You will find this about fence sitters, that they will have a fence, and then they get the fence. They get the fence that they claim that they want, and then they just continue to complain. They continue to complain. And they continue to blame. Goat vs. Fish. Mark Goat vs. Fish. This fence sitter T-Rump will never be satisfied, and not in a way of, oh, I am a goat and I am going to continually try to verse-prove my verses and always verses the fish. No, this fence sitter will always be very angry and always dissatisfaction with whatever the fence is going on. They will not be pleased. They will not be pleased unless they are receiving praise. And then once that praise has been pondered, they will enter a daze and forget all about that verses and forget all about that verses. Praise Goat vs. Fish. Praise Goat vs. Fish. Praise Goat vs. Fish. So even if this fence builder were to get the fence that it has so claimed, do not think that all of the fenciness in Verse America would go away. Do not think that all your fence problems would be solved, all your problematic fences. We love diversity on Goat vs. Fish. We have goat and fish. That's diversity. Jim Tan Laundry says, I do feel safer with him than that guy with no mind left. You think this fence builder has a mind left? You are saying that this fence builder has a mind. If this fence builder has a mind, then why won't it get off its behind and choose goat or fish? You listen to the ramblings of this creature and you think that there's a mind somewhere in there? We have yet to see evidence of it. Goat vs. Fish has yet to see any evidence of this.
A nice precast concrete, 40, 50 feet high, like a beautiful, could have been a T-shape, Y-shape.
T-shape, Y-shape. Oh, T. T-shape, Y-shape. T-shape, Y-shape, T-shape, Y-shape. T at least, goat, G-O-A-T, at least it's goat. But we think that they want the T-shape because you can't spell Trump without T. That is what Goat vs. Fish. We're spilling the tea here on Goat vs. Fish. Look at their imagination. Whoa, it could be a T, it could be a Y. But could it be goat or could it be fish? You are pondering these differences in fenciness, but a fence by any other shape is still a fence, And Y, we know that Y, the Y shape, Y is a false question. There's only one true question. Are you goat or are you fish? Mitch the Mexican is Team Fish today. Celebración por pez! Celebración por pez! Beware, this fence builder wants to annexation. Cabra contra pez. Jim 10 Laundry says, Trump would smash Biden, bro. Hold my pocket, Joe. Catch up, bish. Are you saying that Trump and Biden would smash like this? But let Goat vs. Fish tell you a versus. If you are here in the verses of Goat vs. Fish and you are trying to creation of verses of Biden versus Trump and say, oh, I think I like the Biden more than the Trump. I think I like the Trump more than the Biden. You're just participation in a false versus. And we just have this to say to you.
Goat versus fish. Goat versus fish.
Horse Cat says, make America goat again. Well, that's definitely a verse improvement. Horse Cat, are you goat or are you fish? Whatever happened to those amber orbs? Oh, they're somewhere out there in the universe.
I love construction. I wanted that sucker to go up maybe 50, 60 feet. It would have looked beautiful. A nice Y shape. And they said the problem is, sir, they
50 to 60 feet high. 50 to 60 feet high, they say. Goat and Fish, let Goat vs. Fish tell you a versus. Look behind Goat vs. Fish. Look behind Goat vs. Fish. Some of these flames were quite high, Goat and Fish. Imagine a flame 50 to 60 feet high. Imagine, Goat and Fish, you are just taking a nice verses down to Cabra contra Pez. You want to go to Tijuana to spread the verses of Goat vs. Fish. And you're looking across the beautiful goat landscapes of Goat. But suddenly you can perceive no further. Why? Because a 50 to 60 foot fence obstructs your vision. This would be a very sad versus to Goat vs. Fish. This would be a very sad versus to Goat vs. Fish. Aww. For there to be such an obstruction. Remember, the fence that keeps them out also keeps you in. Remember that verses. The fence that keeps them out also keeps you in. Beware. Be careful what you fence for. Be careful what you fence for, and it's not even going to keep them out. It's not even going to keep them out in any verses. Who are they? Are they goat or are they fish? They don't seem very curious about that verses.
And they said the problem is, sir, they climbed that like a rabbit.
Rabbit? You say that this one has a mind and it's talking about rabbits to Goat vs. Fish? It does not even know that there is no rabbit. There's only goat and fish. What's up, Doc? Are you goat or are you fish? Jim 10 Laundry, still on these verses. Bro, 12 years for this wall? I could build that in 9 months. These guys milk the government like goat's milk. Well, we do not deny that they're trying to hoard all of the goat's milk for themselves. But you sound no different. You sound no different from this fence builder. I could build a giant, thousands of miles long structure in 9 months. Goat versus fish. That is what, you just sound like this one. You sound like making the same vague promises that this fence builder made so many verses ago. Oh, just give me the verses. Let me handle the verses. I'll build that whole entire verses in 9 months. Is Zagreus goat or fish? We do not know if Zagreus is goat or fish, but we do know that Zagreus goes fishing. Jim 10 Laundry says, I am an idiot and a problem manager for 12,500 employees. I just fake it. Oh, yes, we do not deny that you are a total fake. We do not deny this at all.
And they brought some of these guys out. They climbed it like... And the other thing is,
look at them smile. Yes. Look at these sycophants just smiling at the fence sitter. Yes, we agree with what you say. We agree with what you say so that we may live in your administration another day. Look at this verses.
And the other thing is you hit it with acid and the thing will disintegrate. You know, they have things for concrete. So they needed very hardened steel, very special steel. And then they needed 7,000-pound concrete inside that steel, inside that steel. And then they have a rebar.
Rambling. I was born a rambling fence sitter. Not never choosing goat nor fish. So that was T-Rump on rambling about the giant fence. And we think that rambling probably just went on and on. On and on for a long verses, on and on for a very long verses. More and more rambling indeed. Z Subtle. Hello, Goat vs. Fish. Hello, Z Subtle. Welcome to Goat vs. Fish. Z Subtle. Are you goat or are you fish? But there's more verses, goat and fish. There's more verses, goat and fish. More news of goat versus fish. More news of goat versus fish.